Well, Escorts followed the general trend that we saw overall in the auto sector, registering below estimate sales as far as November is concerned. The total sales were up nearly 28%, domestic sales up about 21%, but the exports did see a huge boost this time around, registering a nearly 200% jump from where we were in the same month last year. We're joined now by Bharat Madan, Group CFO at Escorts, to really get a breakdown of all the numbers. Thanks very much, Bharat. A very happy new year to you as well from all of us here at BTVi. Let's start by, talking about the tractor sales figures, because those have been a bit below expectations. This is something that we've seen really develop, in the latter part of the year. CV sales that were doing quite well earlier in the year did give up, some of the steam as we entered the last few months. What's going on in this space? Which are the trends that you can point us towards to help us understand why we saw the slowdown here?
I think first of all, I will correct you that to say that we are below expectation, I think is wrong, because the sales have grown 28% in December for tractors. I think which is much way beyond the industry growth, I think, which is only about 5%. And we've grown almost 5 times the industry growth. So I think it will be wrong to do that statement. But yes, I think overall, if you look at the trend of the growth which is happening till November in the industry, which was almost 14%. So compared to the industry growth till November, December has been slightly muted on account of various reasons, because some markets which are not really done well. But we expect, I think, the momentum will continue. And going forward, next 5-6 months, we should have, again, very good growth numbers coming in this industry.
All right. So essentially what we saw happen in December, would you call that a temporary blip?
Well, December typically is a low season month because the year change and the model changes happen. So after the festive season is over, so normally see some slightly slower demand. So it is a normal phenomenon. But I think looking at our number, we don't think really a concern area, especially our stronger markets where we have been operating in North and Central India. Had done exceptionally well. About 29% growth happened in third quarter in these markets. And we expect the market will continue to do well in the next 6 months too.
All right. Give us a sense then, where would you place the fourth quarter, which we have just started? Where would that stand, compared to the other 3 quarters of the year? Because third quarter, I can understand. There's been, a lot of concern, a lot of pressure. The liquidity squeeze has also weighed on, automakers like yourself. Where would we see ourselves in the fourth quarter? How do you expect things to pan out as we close out the year?
I think fourth quarter, we had early given a guidance. It will not be very strong quarter in terms of growth because the base has been very high. So last year, we had seen almost 45% plus growth happening in quarter four. So that's why you're sitting on a very high base number. But still, we expect it will be somewhere between 0 to 5% growth may happen in Q4. But overall, that will still give the industry a growth of 11-12%, I think, on a full year basis for FY19, which is the third year in succession of growth happening. And we expect, again, the same momentum that we may continue in Q1 also. And obviously, beyond that, it's difficult to say, because there will be a lot depending on how the monsoon guidance comes up and what other elections will the outcome like. But so far, I think till Q1, we expect the growth should continue.
All right, expecting growth to continue. You mentioned the elections, and that's really the big factor that the market is watching as well. The big development that we've seen since those state assembly elections has been the announcement of farm loan waivers across several states. Give us a sense,
Not a good sign, so we don't really appreciate those things. But yes, on a temporary basis, this does lead to some boost in the demand happening, which is seen happening in the early election years too, and it happened on the large scale. So definitely temporarily it will be a plus for the industry, and we see some boost will happen on the demand on the road side with the release.
Right. There's also, an expectation that if not farm loan waivers, but at the central level, we might see some sort of relief come in for the rural space. There's been a lot of talk about agricultural distress, and that is something that the government has stated as a goal to try and resolve at the moment. If we do see any sort of a relief package come through, give us a sense of what that would mean in terms of, incremental gain for your company. Any percentage that you can share with us?
Like you've seen, I think this year also there's been a lot of buying which has happened, a lot of institutional sales which has happened, which is subsidy-based demand. The various state government which went to the election, so besides a lot of freebies given to the rural sector, and we expect the same momentum continues next year too when you go into the election year. So that should actually help in driving the industry demand. So if the state continue with the same subsidy programs in FY20 as well, then that should lead to, I think, some industry growth happening because of that.
Okay, let's break up, the segments then. If you talk about the construction equipment business, give us your expectation ahead of 2019 general elections. What's the view here?
So construction equipment, like I said, in between we had faced some challenges in terms of NBFC issue, the financing become an issue. Some of the financiers still under stress and they're not been able to release money on time. But still, I think the industry is doing well. I think even in third quarter, we had grown almost 30% on the system equipment side, with YTD growth close to 38-39%. And we are given a guidance of 30% plus growth on a full year basis for this business, and we expect that momentum should continue. But once you move into the election year, obviously there's some dip or stagnancy which may set in for a few months, but I think after the things are settled, the industry will again bounce back.
All right, and just a final question then, the railway side of things, if you could give us an outlook there, because this has been a focus area for you. Going forward, what should we expect for your railways business?
So railway continues to give very strong momentum. So I think overall so far this year we've grown almost 40-43% in railway business. And we got a very strong order book of almost 450 crores plus even as we exit the December quarter. So we expect, I think, the momentum of growth will continue in railway, and that probably will continue to be outperform business for us next year.
All right, expect good growth across segments then going forward. Thanks very much. Appreciate your view. It's been a tough, third quarter for most automakers, and of course, we're expecting things to improve in the fourth quarter, and that's the view coming in from the management of Escorts Bharat Madan Group CFO, really helping us break down some of the numbers that we've seen in terms of the kind of, December sales numbers posted by the company. Total sales saw an uptick of about 27.5%, coming in at about 4598 units, and that is, versus a comparable figure of about 3600 odd units, and domestic sales saw an uptick about 21.2% as well. But the big news really were the exports, because if you compare it to the same month last year, we did see an uptick of about 197% coming in for an Escorts. But let's put the focus then back on the markets.